This is Future Fork, a show that explores the world of food and the decisions we can make today that will shape our future. On the show, you'll hear from innovators in the food space. We'll have disruptive conversations with people from around the globe who are taking the lead on topics like food sustainability, ending world hunger, food security, and so much more. I'm your host, Paul Newnham. In this episode, we're joined by Sahar Al Awadhi, an Emirati chef and founder whose work is redefining how Emirati cuisine is understood and experienced today. Sahar is known for using food as a form of storytelling, one that honours tradition while also asking what the future of food in the region could look like. In today's conversation, we'll explore how culture, sustainability, and responsibility intersect in her work. You'll hear about her commitment to elevating local ingredients, her belief that preserving food heritage is inseparable from food security and nutrition, and why she sees chefs not just as creatives, but as custodians of resilient food systems. Let's get into it. Welcome, Sahar.
Thanks, Paul, for having me.
Before we talk about restaurants and sustainability, can you tell us what shaped your relationship to food?
I've always had a really strong connection to food. I always felt like anything or everything in my life kind of like centered around food, whether it was like happiness or sadness or, going to school, what was in my lunchbox, or, going to the canteen and what am I going to get at the canteen? And then as I grew up, it started becoming that thing that connected me with a lot of people. And so I felt like food was a huge connector for me.
Was there a particular moment where you found out that food would become the language that you use and, the ability for you to connect?
There were a couple of moments for sure. There are moments where I'd see my mom cooking in the kitchen and I would want to help her. There were moments where I grew up with 4 brothers and my eldest brother loved cooking. And so he was really kind of the gateway into experimenting with food. And he'd get in the kitchen and cook us some weird stuff. And I'd be like, that's so cool. Yeah. And it was kind of like a bonding moment. And then as I grew older, I started working myself. There were lots of moments that kind of there were moments that took me to next moments. There was never a moment that was okay, maybe this isn't for me. And so that's why I felt like my connection with food was different, and it was something that was in my DNA, because every moment led to another food moment. And so now I'm at a point where I'm opening my own restaurant. So I guess it's kind of worked out.
Congrats. You've said pastry is never just dessert. Mm-hmm. It's always an experience. So I'd love to know what signals to you that a concept should become an immersive cultural experience rather than simply a dish.
I feel like I come from a creative perspective, and so I feel like I look at each dish in a different way. Again, it's not just a dish. It's not something that I'm just creating for you to eat. I'm not following some kind of mandate where I need to have restaurants will always think about one chocolate thing and one lemon thing and one fruity thing to add on the menu. And I kind of just cook from experience. I cook from nostalgia. I cook from feeling. And that comes out really in different ways, whether it's ingredient focused, whether it's culturally focused, whether it's inspired by something that I grew up with culturally. And the feeling I have with it, or the connection I have with it, is what I want the guests to feel when they eat the desserts. And that's why I say it's not just a dish, it's an experience.
And so what's one dish that you're incredibly proud of through your career?
Right now, there's a cake called the BB cake that kind of is very symbolic of the way that I cook and my background. It's a cake that's recipe started with my grandma. And so she used to make it at home in a small kind of tandoorish oven in a pot with very basic ingredients, and then also adding saffron to it and cardamom and rose. It has a rice flour base. So it was really things that you would find around the house. And so my mom grew up with that. And then she ended up making it for us in like her own kind of version. And then I kind of took that recipe and I made my own version. So the evolution of it is very like symbolic of the way that I cook, of the evolution of Emirati food, of the evolution of like adding technique and like different layers, but maintaining the essence of the dish.
Your new restaurant, Abra, is going to be a bridge between old and new Emirati cuisine.
Correct.
What does bridging mean in practice?
Bridging is kind of connecting the dots. So I feel like as a society, as a country, we've evolved a lot. We have things growing agriculturally in the country that we probably didn't have before. And so for me, I don't see cuisines as finite. I see them as infinite. And so like it's time for those ingredients to start being incorporated into our cuisine, for us to use what knowledge we have, what resources we have, techniques, ingredients, plates. You know, there's so much happening in the UAE right now to kind of bridge that old Emirati cuisine that's been in homes for a very long time, adding those resources to it and kind of creating that new Emirati cuisine. That's what we're trying to do.
Do you think when you think of Emirati cuisine and how people understand it in the world, do you think there's areas that are misunderstood or not really explored in the same way?
I would say more than misunderstood. I think there's not enough information about it anywhere. And so Abra will also kind of serve as like a platform where we can educate people about like Emirati food and things that, again, like it's been sitting at home for many years. Whenever people would come to the UAE and they would say, we want to experience Emirati food, the initial reaction would be, you have to go to an Emirati home. But that's not the case when you go to Italy. It's not the case when you go to Thailand. You can find it everywhere. So yeah, it's time for it to kind of evolve.
I mean, the UAE is a unique place because it faces climate volatility. There's a lot of high temperatures, lack of water. There's also a heavy food import dependence in the country. So how do you see your role as a chef in that reality? What can chefs do in that space?
Being more conscious about the ingredients that you choose, really speaking and really finding your farmers and going through a difficult process initially, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes a lot easier. It's super easy just call up a supplier and be like, I need lamb from wherever or tomatoes from wherever. But like if you just take a little bit of time to like do the research, there are tons of farmers that are growing beautiful produce here. There's producers of many things. Like we're just talking about vegetables right now, but we have a chocolate company that's sourcing cocoa beans directly from farmers, fair trade, and creating chocolate bars in the UAE. Premium chocolate bars that have won international accolades and awards.
You're talking about Dubai chocolate?
No, I'm talking about Mirzam.
What do you think of Dubai chocolate?
I think the world goes through trends, and
it definitely was a trend.
It was definitely a trend.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you elevate different ingredients like dates or regional spices, how do you think about the role that ingredient plays in livelihoods or in other elements around the people growing it or utilizing it?
First of all, I think about the people that are growing it. So the more that we use them, the more that they can produce. And that means we import less from other countries. I remember doing an event one time and I specifically asked for dates from the UAE. I think you might have been at that event.
Yeah.
I asked for dates from the UAE and it's one thing that we have an abundance of. And they brought me dates from Algeria. And in my head, I was thinking it's literally the easiest thing you can find in the UAE. And so you really just have to be conscious about like making the effort to like make that connection with your farmers. So the more you demand, the more that they can produce, the more you use it, the more the local cuisine or local ingredients and flavor profiles don't get diluted. So education is also like we talked about, it's a big part of that whole making sure people know what Emirati food is. I can guarantee you the majority of people in the UAE don't know what Emirati food is.
And so when you think about the future of Emirati food,
Yeah.
what do you think it looks like? And how do you think chefs can play a role in really shaping that?
Yeah. What I see it looking like is kind of what I've been doing for the last couple of years in the way that I cook, just kind of evolving the food without fusing it with anything else, without making it seem more important or more exotic by adding, a foreign ingredient to it. Really taking the time to appreciate the ingredients themselves and the dishes themselves, maintaining their essence, and just evolving it with technique. You can have the same dish, different people making them with different techniques. You'll have the same dish, but the experience will be different. And so that's how I see it. I see it like coming out of homes. I wish people would not create fusion versions so much, because I feel like that also dilutes the authenticity of the cuisine. So just maintaining authenticity is one thing that we need to really focus on.
So thinking a little bit about your path, you studied communications and design management, which is a little bit different to studying in culinary. And then you went to Paris and you were baking in Paris. And then you led a 24/7 pastry kitchen that was cooking all day. It's quite unconventional. What do you think is shaping your creative direction right now? Like, what are the things that are really helping drive this where you're at now?
It's the fact that I think I have a different kind of appreciation for Emirati food. I have a different appreciation for things that are from here. And I think it's because of, we've had this conversation before where, like I was telling you, when we were kids, we'd go out and forage and find desert truffles. And so I think I have a different connection to the earth as well. And I think that's what gives me a different perspective, maybe from other chefs. And I knew where I wanted to get. It was finding that path to get it. And sometimes it looked like working in a restaurant, and sometimes it looked like doing marketing, and sometimes it was in a hotel. It was the foundation of what's to come.
How do your family feel about what you're doing?
They love it now. I can't say that they loved it when I started. They were quite skeptical in the beginning. I mean, they weren't really, they didn't really understand it. It wasn't conventional. It wasn't a traditional job. It was long hours in a male-dominated industry that they were completely unfamiliar with. And so they were quite skeptical in the beginning. And then it took some time to really explain to them, and for them to see the progress, and for them to see the development and the growth and everything. And now they're pretty excited.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, in the UAE, you're in a region that's experiencing a rapid cultural and culinary evolution. There's a lot happening here. It's a kind of melting pot.
Yeah.
How do you navigate the challenges and uncertainty in innovation? So when testing new things or trying to get out there?
I think it's just having the confidence to know that, you're confident in your product and you're confident in your skill. You'll never be 100% ready, but you should be confident in what you're doing. And I've been practicing what I've been doing for more than a couple of years now, for many years now. And so it's not something that I'm jumping into. I know that it's still a risk. And I know that somebody's gonna come and be like, this is not how my grandma does it. But I'm not trying to be anybody's grandma. I'm trying to be myself. And, even within everyone's household, moms make things differently, grandmas make things differently. And there's no reason why I can't make things differently either. This is just my version. It just happens to be in a restaurant with tables and chairs instead of in a home.
In all of the kind of roles that you play, you're a chef, a founder, a mentor, a cultural ambassador. What are some of the threads or principles that tie all that together?
Authenticity. I think just maintaining authenticity in all of them, being true to myself and just being true to what I'm doing. Once you really look at a dish and you think about, is this the truest version of the dish that I can make? Everything will kind of fall into place. You'll get everything right. If you try to deviate, and this is why I don't like to do the fusion stuff, it's because I think it really deviates from... Emirati culture is all about preserving. It's all about no waste, foraging, all of those things that are now like very trendy. Words and like practices right now are actually the foundation of Emirati cuisine. And so we grew up with that, where, you know, when you had limes, you pickled them and then you had pickles all year. Where you had fish, you salt cured it and you had salt cured fish all year. Where if you were Bedouin and you had sheep, you used every part of the sheep and nothing went to waste, whether it was rendering the fat, using the meat, using the milk, using the wool, everything. And so those things were foundations of the cuisine, and it's kind of also making sure that you're respecting the integrity of the cuisine so that that doesn't get lost in translation.
I love that authenticity and then the integrity of that. And what you're saying starts to, it kind of makes more sense as to why you're, I mean, this is a country that there's a lot of fusion.
Yeah.
So the fact
the
that
world
you're
has a lot of fusion, right?
Yeah, it does.
Because like people have moved around and like, yeah.
But how you want to hold on to the integrity as well and learn from the past.
Yeah.
But also, I guess it's what's in the future. And so like bridging those worlds.
It is. The past, like I said, what we've been doing in the past is what's trendy, or these trendy words right now that people are using to get awards for being sustainable restaurants. Right? And so, but it's been a foundation for us. So why can't we carry that forward? Why have we lost touch with that?
One thing I'd like to ask everyone is a bit of a recurring question. What's a food memory that's shaped who you are today?
Oh my God.
There's probably lots. But...
There's lots. The main one that it always takes me back is balalit on Eid morning. And so like everyone's fasting all Ramadan, and then like there's Eid morning where like it feels like, should I be eating or not? Because you've kind of gotten used to fasting all month, but then it's like this super happy, joyous moment. Guys wake up and go to prayer in the morning. They come back home, it's a big breakfast spread, and my personal favorite dish is balalit. They're vermicelli noodles, they're sweet, they have saffron, they have cardamom, and you put this egg omelet on top. I like it extra salty. It's just that first bite of heaven after like a month of like fasting, and everyone's sitting around the table together. And I remember that distinctly, like from my childhood, every Eid after Ramadan. So I think that's a big shaper for me.
And it's that coming together, it's the
connector. It's what I was saying earlier about like how it connects you. No one wakes up early in Ramadan. Everybody wants to stay up all night. You barely see people for breakfast. Like everybody has their own lives. But that one day for Eid, everybody's up bright and early for balalit breakfast.
Well, thank you. Good to chat, and good luck with the new restaurant.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to Future Fork, a show that explores the world of food and the decisions we can make today that will shape our future. Future Fork is produced by Disruptive Consulting Solutions and supports the SDG2 Advocacy Hub. For more info, head to the website futureforkpodcast.com. This show was produced with strategy and production support from Wavelength Creative. So you don't miss an episode of Future Fork, make sure to subscribe to or follow the show in your podcast app. And while you're there, leave us a 5-star review. It really helps others find the show. I'm Paul Newnham, and I'll see you in the next episode.